everyone? This is Cincinnati Man. I'm here back again with my sister. Imani, you wanna wave at the camera? You normally say hello, but okay.
Hello.
Um, you know, you had me watch Rebel Without a Cause,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had me watch um
On the
on
water
on the
part.
waterfront with Marlon Brando,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had me watch this with Lana Turner,
Yes.
and I can honestly say each movie has gotten more interesting than the other one.
That's good.
What,
I don't know if that's a good, interesting, or bad.
What age were you when you saw this movie? You probably like 12 or 9. You probably cause we had cable.
Yeah.
Our grandparents had cable, so we were just watching stuff and nobody's paying attention to us. They was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I had to be like a teenager, early teen.
Okay, you gave me a list of movies.
Yeah.
Is this the most controversial of all of them? Or is this the most okay? I watched Imitation of Life from 1959. I actually bought it on Amazon. I didn't feel like playing around because what happened
I had it on DVD. Well,
you want to tell DVD? Like, you don't tell me nothing.
You don't ask. Yeah.
How about look? How you gonna get a little somebody movie? See, this is why that's why the era is different. Because back in the day, when you told somebody to watch something, you'd be like, "Yo, take the VHS, take the DVD, I got you." Now it's like, or even like 10 years ago, you'd be like, "Yo, go to this website." Now it's like, "Oh, I had that. I didn't even think about telling you."
But no, I'm not using the DVD player anymore, so it was
$4.99 or $3.99, which is fine. I watched it, and is this one of your favorite movies of all time? You tell me that. This it's not of all time. Let's just say this is one of your favorite movies.
Yeah, it's in my list of movies that I like. All my favorite movies you've seen though, like Batman and Batman Returns.
Yeah, but see, we were doing the 1950s, 60s edition.
Yes,
of this era. So I haven't seen many.
And Streetcar Named Desire, which I forgot to put on the list. It's another Marlon Brando movie.
You really want me to see? You want me to do that scene, Stella?
Mm-hmm, so you can understand why he was screaming her name and what happened. That movie's crazy too. There is a controversial.
Controversy.
I know. I said it weird.
Controversial.
Yeah.
Combination.
Scene in that movie, which I didn't understand when I was younger, but now I think I do. What happened? Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The movie is very good. The movie's very good. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed. You know me, I love the title, the title intros where it shows all these diamonds and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the first thing I thought was like Imitation of Life. I was like, they made it today be synthetic diamonds. Be man-made diamonds. Get it? Imitation of Life.
Yeah.
You just gonna let that die? But okay.
Yep.
It was really cool to see that I said animation. Well, how they did that, and then it opened up and. It opened up with bad parenting. Just bad parenting. Yep. Where's my kid at? I can't find my kid.
Throughout the whole movie, the parenting is questioning.
The theme of Imitation of Life is this is what happens with bad parenting.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you don't have a man in the household. Let's go. You don't have the balance. Think about it. They predicted the future. Single moms. Trying to do their best for their kids. One is too pleasing to their kid. The black mother was too forgiving to her kid, and her behavior.
Yeah, and that was wild.
And she was not emotionally invested in her in a different type of way than the white mother. The white mother was a bad parent too because she gave her kid everything, but she wasn't emotionally involved. Both parents were not emotionally involved in their kid's life to the point which they needed. And but oh man, okay. What's her name?
Annie is the black mother.
No,
Laurel,
the daughter of
Sarah Jane,
the actress daughter.
Oh, Susie.
Susie was more though Susie had it together more. Mm-hmm. She was way more together than Sarah Jane. Mm-hmm. But they both had parental issues.
Yeah. And yeah.
So that opening scene, she's looking around and then she bumps into the photographer.
Which Steve, creeps me out. He creeps me out.
Wait, hold up. First of all, he gets an A from me because his name's Steve, and he was a gentleman. He was like Captain America. That's Steve. That's Steve right there. And she's like, I'm trying to find my kid. And he's like, the officer's right there. And he walks up. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, he's trying to spit game. I could feel it. I was like, this brother trying to spit. And then I was also shocked, but then again, it might be part of propaganda that that black lady was out on that beach with all those white people. But then again, it's 59. It's 1959, though.
Well, they still had those rules.
Well, it wasn't. But yeah, so it was like
that. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because I was sitting there like, because
it took place in what, New York? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was sitting there like, is that allowed? Is that because like, okay.
They probably thought she was a nanny.
That's true. But then there was a black dude in the back with his shirt off, just walking around. I was like, what era is it? Because part of me thought it was propaganda because they are like, even when it was really bad back in the day, it was like, oh, they that bad. It was like, dude, I can't walk through the front door. Yeah, but you can walk through the back. That's better than not being let in. It was all lessons and lessons and lessons. So I was wondering, but anyway, she was nice enough to find it. And the mother, Annie, it was interesting because I could see somebody watching now. Like I look at her, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, but guess what? She was hustling. She was hustling to try to get hustle in a good way to provide a better life for her and her daughter. Yeah. You got to find them. You got like it's almost like that old school mentality. Like, I don't care if I got to sweep floors, shoe shine. I'm gonna make a better life for me and mine.
Yeah, she got lucky.
And it was cool to see that Laura wasn't like an evil person. Because I thought she was going to be just like, look here, Negro. No, she was like, oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, she was cool.
She was cool. The daughter was cool. It was just
Sarah Jane.
But the sad thing about it is, though, as much as I hated Sarah Jane, I understood how her mind got warped by the society itself. It warped her. To a certain extent. All those pressures of that life. And it made me sad because her mother tried to teach her to be proud of herself.
Yeah.
So they took her.
But from the get-go, Sarah Jane was just too much.
Yeah, she was a jerk. She was a jerk the whole time. And
even on the beach, like.
Oh, this is just an example of bad parenting. Because why didn't she ever whoop her? I'm watching the whole time. I'm like, beat her, whoop her. She ain't whoop her once. They put modern parenting back. That it showed you right there. They tried to show the people. They tried to show the people. Don't raise your kids like this.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, isn't it? When you look back now, you're like, dang, they just let them do whatever they wanted. They gave them everything.
I thought she would at least like hem her up once, but she never did.
And then what tripped me out was, remember they was playing with the doll? Mm-hmm. She's like, I want this black doll. Give me the white doll. I was like, dang, she racist. Like, she's straight up racist. And it's funny because she was never really white because her dad was just light skinned. That's the funny part. The daddy light skinned. You might be like one person removed, but you ain't even white. Your daddy just light skinned, woman.
Well, we never saw the dad.
No, she said he was. No, the mom said yes, he was light skinned. She never called him white. She said he was a light skinned guy. But apparently, daddy ran off.
No, he died. I thought.
I thought she said before he ran off.
I don't know.
But so they start living together, and she's helping her out, and she tells her that she wants to be an actress. And
I like that they were both supportive of each other.
Yeah, that was a very. But the first thing I thought was in 2023 they'd be both lesbians.
Ooh. No comment.
If they made Imitation of Life right now, it'd have been some weird dynamic there. One of them would have been that way. Oh, I'll tell you right now. Steve could have been played by Billy D. Williams. there's a certain part. No, when he was being charming, like when he was like hitting on her and stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, oh, tell me for real. There's a certain way that 1950s men talk. They talk as if they're presenting options, and they're really not. They're telling you what you want to do. Darling, I think you're beautiful.
Yeah, I think that accent is called like the North Atlantic accent, and you'll see it like throughout the 50s and 60s.
It's so
40s.
It's so because it's very deliberate and forceful.
I'm gonna need you to stop doing that.
It's not like, hey, look here, dame, we're gonna do this, right? It's not. It ain't like, hey, how you doing today? It's like this. Hello, everyone. Shall we go out to eat? Yes. That's so charming. Stop doing it. I might talk like this the rest of the interview.
Please don't.
Not interview, but the rest of the review. So then we decided to. No. But Steve came over because he had the pictures of the girls, and he found out he wants, because the girls were running around making fun of people and made fun of a fat person.
Yeah.
Which I was shocked. I was like, dang. I was like, you see way more people like that now. I was like, you transport those kids now, they'd be like, wow. And it was interesting. They both talked about their hopes and dreams. Mm-hmm. They dated for like 5 months because they mentioned it later when they were talking, when he was trying to get her to decide what she wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But it was funny how the mom got stuck with the acting role of the dog.
Oh, when she was on Broadway?
She was sneezing. No, before that.
Oh, yeah.
The commercial.
When she was doing the commercial for...
It was a flea removal. And then she got back, and then she... Her and Steve went on that date, and then it was for like actors. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Hey, you better go get that girl. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a role for you." That the director, the agent's looking for somebody right now. She went down there, and then the agent turned into Harvey Weinstein. I was like, "Yo!" I was like, "Hey, how far can Me Too go back?" The movie came out in 1959. Can they go back that far? They would have got him too.
There was a lot of people they could have
got. He was straight. He was straight like, hey, here's a mink coat. Show you around. We gonna have sex? She's like, no. He's like, oh, I respect your morals, but if you gonna make it around here, good luck. Oh, that was. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
you'll see a lot of that in the 50s and 60s movies. Not a lot. I love it. But it's in there.
Look, Dwayne Wade, I love it. I love it. Because you're sitting around like, where the realness at? That got real. And I was shocked they put it in there. But it was kind of, I bet some Hollywood people watching like, yep, that's what we do.
It is, because I watched some documentary about that. Well, not that specifically, but it was a lot of that going on in the old days of Hollywood.
Yep, as old as probably like a couple weeks ago. But anyway, and I normally don't go through the whole story or something like that, but it was an interesting story. Okay, what was interesting? Steve was doing the right thing. Steve was charming her. Like they I liked how they didn't go straight to the race. They hinted at the race stuff with Sarah Jane, but they really set you up to get to know.
Yeah, they had that emotional pull.
The emotional connection between the family and her. They didn't. Part of me was like, I can see a black person being like, well, they should have showed all the mama's life and nothing like that. But the story was done so well, in my opinion, that it was okay. You didn't need it because whatever happened at the end, it brought that even more emotional impact. Where you're like, dang. So anyway, when she get that phone call, when Laura gets that phone call about that job, man. And Steve was like, you were sexually harassed. Why would you go back to that agent? She was like, oh, it ain't him, it's somebody else. He was like, what makes him different from the other guy that sexually harassed you?
Okay.
She was like, look, this is my opportunity, and I want power.
And that's sad. A lot of, I was going to say women, but people probably go through that.
People, not even Hollywood, people
that
want,
that's what I mean, just
like jobs in general. It's like, I want all of this. It's like, yeah, but you got all this horrible stuff to happen to you. I'll make it and make everybody pays. He's basically talking like that. And he was like, but at the same time, I thought he was going to work with her.
Yeah, I didn't think he was just going to be like,
either be with me or take that job. I thought, because he was a photographer, I was thinking like, take more pictures of her.
Yeah.
And he got that job being a photographer for the beer ads and stuff, and he was going to work his way up. She was like, she hit him with the, you gave up your dream. I'm not giving up mine.
I know, that was sad.
You
shouldn't say that
her
to somebody.
Selfishness, the way she turned was amazing.
That's their fame.
And
money hungry. I mean,
and I get her background. She was with her husband. He was a director in a small town or something like that. And he died, and she gave him a dream to raise a kid. And then when he died, she was like, I gotta get back on it. But it was like, it made you wonder if she would have, if that director would have stayed alive, would she have always had that regret in her heart?
Probably.
And, ooh, you right, and resentment.
Mm-hmm.
So she leaves Steve. She gets a job, and she's tripping over herself. She's not sure of herself because she's never been in such a big production.
Broadway.
And I forgot the name of that director. It was David Edwards, who gave her a shot and everything, and then she's pushed back on him, talking about like, look, hey, this whole scene sucks. You need to change this, change that. And they were like, get out of here, lady. And he was like, oh my goodness, you're right. Everybody around me, when you get famous like that, everybody want to be yes man. And it took a strong woman to tell him no, man. And then she eventually becomes a star. And she gets all these plays. And
I was surprised at how long she stayed on Broadway. It was like
10 years, I think.
10 years, 11 years.
And yeah, because it was weird.
Because they did the montage of all the years.
All the years going by and all the praises. Like, yeah, oh my goodness, yay.
And I was like, I wanted to see like a scene from the play. Like,
you saw it?
A longer scene. Like, I don't know.
What I thought was cool was that it was a play within a play. A play within a movie. So you're watching the play, or you watching them talk about the scenes and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, oh man, look, and I love how newspapers did come out that night.
Yeah, and they sat around.
I was laughing like, oh yeah, I forgot. Cause I was making fun of it. Cause I did a little audio live thing of it, and I was like, wait a minute, where's this happen at? And it hit me right now, like, oh yeah, it was like fresh off the presses.
It's always crazy how big the newspapers are too in the 1950s.
Those newspapers so
paper
big.
They wasted.
That newspaper so big they can cover cars.
Yeah.
But and when they're talking about the play and how well it did, it hit me like, wait, they're acting right now. They tracked all their scenes and everything. Hey, look at this. Hey, it said this today about you in the paper. And I'm watching, it just hit me like, wait a minute, they're doing it's so meta. A scene within a scene talking about a scene. And when that director / writer, David Edwards, was telling her, like, open the doors, like, here's your kingdom, now that she's popular and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not big. I'm like, it's New York. What do you mean it's not big?
Right.
It's New York. Like, only a New Yorker would say, like, hey, this ain't really that much. His house is at the height of a skyscraper. He's on like the 85th floor, and he's like, it's a modest living. But anyway, and then she rejected Steve's marriage proposal because he wasn't a hustler like her. But she immediately knew with him after what happened with Loomis. Yeah. No, Loomis. After what
Edwards.
happened, what happened with Loomis, and then what happened with Steve, she chose to go with Edwards. Cause she was like, well, I gotta do what I gotta do. Loomis is right. Hey, I'll be with you. Oh, he's like, oh, I always fall in love with my leading ladies. And then he was like, she's like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm like that in.
But when Steve was like, will you love me? And he's about to kiss her. She's like, I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to say. And she was all in it for that power though.
Yeah, power hungry.
And that was before the montage, but they just interesting.
Yeah.
But. And then you see him in a nice home and everything. And you saw they got Jeffrey. As soon as I saw that brother, I was like, Jeffrey. and they was buying all this stuff. And Annie was like, yo, you spending a lot of money. And Laura was like, hey, you got to look. She's like, you got to. He's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Like, you don't have to spend that money. See,
I'm glad Annie was the voice of reason.
Hey, but you know why she's the voice of reason?
Yeah.
Why was she the voice of reason? What's the Hollywood phrase? What is the Hollywood phrase? You want me to say it? Because I always say all the controversial stuff around everybody. Because she was the magic Negro. Lazy Gentleman, the Magic Negro it was typically a black character that would always say something wise to help a white character get out of issues. Am I correct? In that phrase, in that,
so
that definition,
right.
the Magic Negro, they come up with like, "What happened? I wouldn't have did that. You should do this." And something bad would happen, and they will always be there to comfort the person. I know from experience. I've been a Magic Negro to a few people in real life.
Well,
oh man, you know who you are. Well, look. Well, if I don't exist no more, I guess I'll leave. But this is real life. Okay, just don't talk to me anymore. Oh man. But anyway. And when you're watching all this stuff happen with the mom, the glamour and all this other stuff, in the middle of when I was watching, I was like, wait a minute. What the kids look like now? Mm-hmm. And when they show up, they're like 18. They said one of them was 16, but nah. One of them
was still in high school. Well, no, both of them was under 18.
They was about to graduate.
Yeah.
They was about to graduate, so they had to be like...
later on, she lied about her age.
Yeah.
That job.
And what was his name? I keep on forgetting his name. And Edwards came to her, was like, did you get my phone calls? Oh, I forgot. She was avoiding. You ain't gonna fit no phone calls. Mm-hmm. That people calling you ain't, nah. Because you know Andy would have told you, like, hey, Miss Lowe, he called again. And he's like, and what shocked me, which I didn't realize until she said it, because remember the argument they had, they got her notice when she was arguing about the comedic scene. She's like, I don't want to do another comedy. And I laughed. I was like, wait a minute, he's a comedic
I didn't realize,
writer?
When I first watched it, I didn't realize it was a comedy that she was doing.
Yeah, I thought it was a scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. She was like, I want to do something real and all this other stuff. And I was rolling because I was like, she's like, I don't want no comedic act. I don't want to be a comedic actor. It's like, even back then, I was like, I wouldn't do that. And then when dude hit her was like, but you gonna do that other thing? You got a controversial thing about Negro, something like that. I was like, oh, is it coming out? It didn't. The racism didn't really wasn't that bad. It was more just like a matter of fact.
It was like, subtle.
Yeah, it was a matter of fact. Like, hey, we white. Why you gonna do that controversial scene in the Negro thing in there? And you see Ann in the background, was like, Ann looked up like, what you just said? Hey, when he said that, I was like, and she was like, I'm making you a drink, sir. And when he said that stuff, I was like, spit in his coffee.
Oh, okay.
I was like, do it. Do what Kizzy did. So anyway, I was surprised that Laura stuck to her guns and was like, no, I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. And dude got dramatic, like, well, I guess I won't be needing this anymore. He threw the script away. And
they were so dramatic.
And she said it too. She's like, oh, he's being dramatic. She's like, I know him. He got 6 copies of that manuscript. Mm-hmm. And my favorite part is when him and the agent were sitting there and Loomis was clapping and they were clapping at the end. It was like, oh, bravo, it was a great show. Because he thought I was going to fail because he was doing that dramatic stuff. He looked at Loomis and was like, tell her I said I was wrong. And he walked out. And what surprised me was, okay, we never saw him again. Mm-hmm. I thought they were married.
No.
I didn't know that was her place. I thought he was going to kick her out. Because when you never saw him again, I was like, you get a prenup?
No, they were never married.
I thought it was going to be a Jeezy divorce.
He never should have got married to her anyway.
We'll talk about that later. Anyway.
We will.
So you move forward with it, and then and the two scenes where people were clapping and stuff years ago and years later, Steve was there.
He's always gonna be there.
And then after the clap, Steve showed up for her dramatic thing, her dramatic play. She said, "Oh, Steve, how you doing?" And Steve had a fine little young thing on his arm. I was like, "Okay, Steve. Okay."
You really like Steve.
Okay, Steve. But no, I was mad when he was 10 years earlier, he was trying to convince her and she was just dogging him. I was like, I got triggered. Because I was just like, somebody got to be with you because they want to be with you. You can't force them. Even if you force them to stay with you a little bit, it's always going to be that weird awkwardness. You got to I don't know if I can wait 10 years for somebody. I don't know. Somebody told me like, "Hey, you want to wait 10 years for her?" I'm like, no. I wouldn't do it on purpose.
What?
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't. And he just kept on trying to do the right thing. She just kept dogging him. Like, my career, my career, my career. So anyway, he showed up with the fine things. That girl was cute too. And I was like, yo, man, like, yo, bro, you moved on. I thought he was gonna say that was his wife. I really did. You think so? Even when you first saw her, you didn't think that was like that girl was his wife?
Yeah.
Didn't it seem like it?
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, we're all going back to my spot." I'm like, why would you take the chick you dating over to the house of the girl you was? It didn't make any sense.
Cause he ain't love that girl. He wanted Laurel.
So they get back, and I'm trying to think. Now it's funny. I remember all the way up to there now. That little scene, like they're all talking and stuff, and oh yeah. Then he met the kids. And then I promise you, I thought Sarah Jane.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Sarah Jane was gonna hit on him because she had that look in her eyes. She
did. It was a weird vibe.
She like tuned in. And I'm like, hello. I'm like, yo, like there was vibes in this whole thing where it could have been Sarah Jane or Susie. And but it was mainly what flipped it wasn't him. It was them.
Yeah.
Which you could tell because they're young, but it was just like, please don't go there, please don't go there, please don't go there.
I was very uncomfortable later on when Susie.
So we'll get there.
Yeah.
So she's talking like, Steve, let's go horseback riding and all this other stuff. Let's go do that. And he was like, okay. I was like, yo, the chick.
I told you he didn't care about that girl.
The baddie, you got the baddie.
He did not care about that girl.
Baddie. So they go to the park and everything, and Sarah Jane pretends to be sick, and then she runs and goes hang out with some dude, and you find out that the guy Steve went from taking pictures for advertising for the beer thing to be an executive of the executive of like advertisement for it, and that was cool. But then when Susie was like, yeah, tell me about kissing, and then Andy went on. They cut. She started kind of talking about it. Then they went to the scene where Laura and Steve were making out. And they were talking about the future and everything. Then it cut back. It's like it was almost like you could tell it was like 10 minutes later, and Andy was still talking about kissing.
Yeah. And
it was like, lady, look, we ain't seen you with no man this whole movie. That's whole true. Movie.
She got Sarah Jane, so she knows Sarah something Jane, about it.
Yeah, but I'm saying she ain't been with a man like 20 years.
We don't know that.
That's true. But it was just funny because I'm saying you don't see it. You don't see it. She's like, ooh, and some kissing is good, and some kiss lead to other stuff. But then the kiss, when you kiss, I'm like, you're still talking about this?
She had to explain it thoroughly.
So when they get back to the house, because remember Sarah Jane pretended to be sick, and she wasn't. And she was like, where was you at? Where you been? Because she snuck back in the house. I got a boyfriend. And when she was like, oh, is it the Hawkins kid? And she was like, why it's got to be some N-word? She basically said it like that. Did she not? Am I lying?
No.
She gave that inference like, don't you ever think I'm going to date somebody colored. It's like, you are not white. Your mama is black and your dad was light-skinned mixed. He was mixed, but even Annie was like I said, she was like, he's on the lighter side, but whatever.
Oh, going back, the most heartbreaking scene is when, well, not heartbreaking, but it kind of got me when Sarah Jane was in the classroom and Annie came. And she ducked
when
down.
When she was a kid.
Yeah. And she ducked down because she didn't want anybody to know her mom.
She got home and she was crying like, I hate you. I don't want nobody to know that you're my mama.
That was sad to watch.
Yeah, because like I had a conversation with somebody. And I asked somebody, do you know what passing is? Mm-hmm. And they were white. Because I love having just adult conversations with people. Mm-hmm. And I was voice messaging her. Shout out to me. I was voice messaging her. And she was like, oh yeah, like she sent a message back, like, yeah, like when somebody passes away.
Well.
I was like, so okay, let me. I typed it in, and then I sent her a screenshot of it. Man, she's like, oh, that type. And then I'm gonna edit out her name because I'm about to say this. This is about to be crazy. She was like, well, in life, if you could get away with something, wouldn't it be easier just to do that? And I was like, on the surface, look, on the basic level surface, I get what she was saying, But I said not. No, but I said the same thing. I said not in this instance.
Yeah.
Like if you want to pretend that you want to fake it till you make it to be rich or something, I get it. You want to fake it like when Laura lied to Loomis about being from Hollywood, I get it.
Yeah, that's totally different.
But the problem with passing is typically people that pass whatever race you're trying to switch to, you look down on the race you came from. Typically, that would always happens. Or when you see the other person that is that race, you'd be like, "Oh, hello." They looking at you.
There was a Netflix movie about that not too long ago, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, passing is a deep thing. Passing is a deep thing because, like, some people pass in other ways, you know, and I'm not even going to go into the controversy of it because I ain't trying to get canceled yet. But basically, it's one of those things, it's like, I can't take this off.
Right.
I can't, and I'm fine with that. I never had an insecurity about. You've never known me having insecurity. You never heard nobody in our family be like, I wish we were white so things would be even better. You never heard, even individually, me, you, nobody. So the idea of somebody just flipping it off is so disgusting to me. It's like, because I'm fine with who I am. Just respect me. And it really that whole thing triggered me because I'm thinking like, I thought about the controversies, like, because growing up, the way we grew up, in the environments we grew up, I was around a lot of white people, and white people would look at me weird because I talked properly. They looking at me like, why are you talking like that? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, my parents talk like this. Like, this is how we talk. We ain't like, yo, man, what's up, dog? Or, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up? That's it. And they be like, oh, you Carlton, you this, you ain't really black and all this other stuff. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm just chilling. I'm not even doing, you know what I mean? So I had to face that and just see somebody like, I'll just disappear into this and pretend. You're like, you ain't shit to me. Sarah Jane ain't no shit to me. She's a horrible person. Yeah. Because she had a hatred, in that movie, she had a hatred for black people. It wasn't just like, I don't want nobody to know because I don't want to get discriminated on. I'm just not going to say nothing. No, she was like, ugh, these black people.
The blacks.
Yeah, I would never want to reflect these people. And you're like, well, why don't you get mad at the people that's persecuting them in America?
Like, I wanted to see what happened to make her that way. I mean, I get it. I understand, but at such a young age, she already had that.
It's easy. You know why?
She probably saw the different.
With her mama.
Yeah.
Her mama's friends.
Yeah.
The quality of where you're living.
But that's the food, it's still extreme. Like,
I'm saying it warped her in that.
Like, but she was so young. I don't know. I didn't have to go through it.
So, dang, where did we leave off? Let's think of the story. Where did we leave off?
Sarah Jane has a boyfriend.
Oh, she told us she had a boyfriend, and she got mad because it was the Hawkins, and then she went downstairs to talk to her mom because were people coming over again or something like that. Yeah. And long story short, Sarah Jane showed her whole butt.
She sure did.
She's because Laura was like, "Hey, could you help your mom?" And Sarah Jane like, "I ain't the help." She basically was acting like that. It was like, "No, like
yeah." She put on that.
Your mom got voice. Your mom got dizzy spells and everything. Oh, it is interesting. The woman that played her is actually like half Mexican or something. Like she's like Mexican or something like that. And I looked her up, and she like ended up only acting for a few more years, and then she married like a director, and then she wanted to raise her kids, and her kids end up directing movies. Oh man, I was shocked. They directed like some like her two sons start directing together, and they directed some notable movies that you would know. I'll look it up in a second, but I'll put it up there. So when I saw how big that shrimp was, I was like, dang, that's a big shrimp.
I knew you would say
I was
that.
like, yo. I was like, they had GMOs back then?
I knew you
I was like, hey, I'm telling you right now, if food gonna look that good, keep pumping the food with chemicals.
Oh, God, don't say that.
I'm telling you right now, I ain't never seen something that big. And they set it down, it was crawfish. I was like, oh. See, I'm a foodie. When they said it was crawfish.
I've never had crawfish. I don't think I want it.
You want it, trust me. Trust me, they're good, but you got to break you break it in half, and then it's like a little chunk of meat. James and Christina had a seafood broil. I ain't never had crawfish. They had so much crawfish left over. I I would take out the meat, throw it in the. I had like a whole bowl full of meat.
I do that with my crab legs. I break it off first and then eat it.
So you see, this type of reviews you ain't gonna get nowhere else. I'm reviewing the food and Imitation of Life. A movie about racism. I'm talking about food. I'm tripping. Anyway, so when she sat down, like, here you go, man. Here's crawfish.
I know. I hate that part.
I was like, B, your mama don't even talk like that.
Right. I don't know why she did that because like you said, her mom doesn't even talk like that. She talks any of that.
She has a little accent, but it's not that strong. It's more like a polite, oh, yes, man, whatever you want to do. It ain't, whatever you want to do, man.
Right.
So, and then when Laura led into her later, like, have we ever treated you bad? No. Have we ever treated you with disrespect? Has anybody in this house? No. She's like, don't you ever do that again.
I wanted Annie to do that, though. Because that's her mama.
Annie's soft. Annie is a horrible parent. With a good heart.
I think she wanted her child to like her more than to respect her, I guess.
So she wanted her to love her.
Yeah. Love and like.
Dang it. Give me a second. Hey, right here, we gonna cut because hold on. I'm gonna cut all this out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they had a falling out about that. And what happened after that? What was the scene after that? She went off and
Sarah Jane left the house to meet up with her boyfriend, I think. In that alley or wherever they met.
And when that scene with Sarah Jane and her boyfriend came up, it was 100% her fault because you lied from the beginning. And her mama told her too, like, don't lie. And it was of the time. It makes sense. It made 100% sense. But then again, also, you had people that dated interracially and were fine with it.
He was not.
No, you're right. He
said that word with the hard ER.
Hey, he Mike Tyson'd her.
He
gave her the Rocky Balboa. He was,
I don't know how she didn't think that somebody would find out. Like, you're dating somebody in the same city. Like,
Hey, he was like, is it true? What? Your mom's
Is your mother a...
No, it's not true. You lied.
Right then and there, she should have just walked away or ran away because she knew it wasn't going to be nothing good.
I was like, like I said, every time I see black people in these movies, I'm like, we're the racist part. That was the most racist part in the whole movie. Yeah. In the whole movie, that was the most racist.
Yeah.
Because everything else was like polite racist. Like, excuse me.
Like the subtle racism of today.
No, it was...
Well, you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, like, I can go to a restaurant. They're gonna be like, you gotta get out of here. Why? Obviously you need to get we don't really need to say it, sir. They were kind of doing that to her, like,
yeah.
Okay, lady, we ain't gonna look, you're older, we're not even gonna whoop your ass. We're just gonna tell you to scoot out of here.
I still can't believe he did that to her. I mean, whew.
And hold on a second, let me see where we at. Sarah Jane getting dating sometimes.
Then Sarah Jane goes home and Susie sees that she was beat up.
Yeah, and they asked who did it, and she said, like, it's your fault. It's your fault.
She said, it's that Hawkins kid. Sarah Jane. I mean, Susie told. I was glad Susie told. But, I mean, nothing's going to happen from it, though.
Look, this is getting long, but...
Yeah, we can go to the ending, because the ending, whew.
But this movie is emotionally draining. Basically, the mom reconnects with Steve, but then she gets the role of a lifetime, which it was. She gets into the movies finally, Steve's like, I'm gonna take care of Sarah. That whole part right there, we can't even skip yet. The Sarah and Steve thing was bad.
Yeah, I'm like,
and
wow.
It was weird that he didn't notice.
Right.
They walked to the restaurant. She's like, this is so romantic. He's like, yeah, this is a nice spot, isn't it?
And then I get it. That was her role of a lifetime, but.
Are you going back to the mom?
Yeah, watch out for your daughter.
She did. Steve watching out. And Steve was a good man. But those scenes were weird, but Steve was a good man.
If I had a daughter, I wouldn't. Yeah.
The good thing is, he never molested her. He never touched her. He never did it. You know what I mean? He never did anything creepy that we saw. And it was never implied that either. I was like, I was so happy that wasn't in there because I was like, please don't be in there.
Yeah, but it still was creepy.
And then the daughter fell in love with him. And then she got mad when the mom was going to marry him. Mm-hmm. She's like, well, I'm in New York, but I'm going to move to Colorado. She's like, that's 1,600 miles away. I looked it up at 17. But anyway, I wanted to know. And the issues that Susie had was her mom wasn't there for her enough, even though she provided for her. Mm-hmm. That's what she wanted her mother to be in her life.
Yeah, she said that.
She didn't have self-hatred like Sarah Jane. Mm-hmm. They both had their issues, but she handled it way more mature. Like, I got to get away from this. Like, I'm in love with Steve. This is ridiculous. I can't do this. So she actually handled it like an adult. Meanwhile, Sarah Jane ran away from home.
She was a burlesque
she became dancer. She became a thought. She was Susiana. What's her name? Sukiana. She was doing the red. She was doing the sexy red in the club of that era. Yeah. And then you know what's funny? And Annie made me mad because every time Susie ran away, Annie would pop up like, "I'm her mama. I'm black. Everybody." It's like,
I mean, she is her mother.
But this is the problem. In the era, do you want your daughter to get beat up again? I mean, I know you love her, but we're living in 1959. It's a lot more dangerous than doing it now.
But I mean, that's her mother.
No, I know, but it's still dangerous because you want to get what a dude would have socked her right in the face, like, you lied to me. The owner would have did it. They did it. They did it today. Everywhere, every bar wherever she worked at, every time somebody found out, she would get a black eye.
I'm not saying nothing about that.
Oh, that is so bad. And the mama got sicker and sicker because she had a broken heart.
Yeah.
And you know, Susie went to California and the mama saw her one last time and was like, okay, I'm leaving you alone.
I'm like, Sarah Jane?
Yeah, Sarah, she went to, Annie went to go see Sarah Jane one last time. Mm-hmm. Sarah J's living her life at a not burlesque show. It's more like Hollywood dance. Oh man, chorus line. It's like a chorus line. And
can we go back to when she was in that first bar? I don't know who that was singing, but that was definitely not her.
I looked it up. It was some white lady, like jazz singer or something like that.
I'm like,
because when the singing was going on, I was like, you ain't singing like that. And I looked to her, I was like, nah.
Because that lady's voice was more huskier than...
She was singing like this.
Yeah.
She was singing all this. And then she was singing like this.
Yeah.
And I stared and I was like, that ain't you. And I was like, it had a little soul, it had a little bit of soul to it. And I was just like, huh. But anyway, and she hugged her one last time, and that friend came in and was like, "Oh, you the maid? I got ants.
Yeah."
She's like, "Oh, that's a shame. Nobody want ants." She's like, "Nah, I used to raise her." And when she left, her friend was like, "Oh, you didn't know you had a black mammy?"
Yeah.
And then she cried like, "Yes, I did for all my life." It was like whatever.
Wasted all the time.
So, I wish we would have found out if Laura's movie would have bombed or not. I felt like it would have bombed. When she was like, think it would. She was like, I can't wait to see my movie, how well it did. It was weird. It was a weird kind of thing where I was like, I wanted it to bomb to hurt her ego. No, to bring her down a peg. Yeah. And, you know, Annie died of a broken heart. And it's funny, we kind of fast forward earlier, but we'll talk about it again. What's her name? Susie decides to move. But everybody, it seemed like it was ending, and then Annie died. Mm-hmm. And you saw all the people that loved her in Harlem.
Shut up. What got me was Mahalia Jackson singing.
Oh yeah. Oh man. But I saw her. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I know that lady. I looked it up. I was like, oh, it was so powerful.
It was.
And sad.
It was.
All the people at that funeral. You can see how loved she was by the community. And remember before Eddie died, she had a conversation with Laura. She was like, oh, I know a lot of people. She's like, you got friends?
Right.
But Annie was right. She was like, you never brought them here. Like Annie was cool enough. She could have brought her friends there every once in a while, but she chose not to because she was working there and being respectful, and she didn't want to hear none from people. Even though she probably lived on some kind of, it looked like she lived on like
a farm or something,
on acres where nobody would know all the black people was there. Get out.
She was, Annie was still thinking of others when she died because she said give money to the milkman at the first apartment.
What made me mad is when Annie was gonna die. She was like, "Send my money to my daughter." No,
right?
No, she ain't getting no check. Does she accept being black now? She cried at my mama.
When she came running, she first of all she was late.
Hey, late to a funeral. That's that
late
joke.
to her mother's
you gonna be late.
Funeral.
That'll be a new joke. You gonna be late to your mama's funeral. Somebody gonna be like, maybe she don't like her mama.
I was just like, you could really, and then you're gonna make it a spectacle about you all again, like you did throughout your life by crying over that casket. It don't mean nothing now.
And all I kept on wondering is, at the end of that movie, I was like, does she accept being black now?
Probably not. Well, I don't know. I can't say.
Because I don't get it. It was left open ended. She was just hurt, and I hope.
Maybe with age.
Yeah, I hope she accepts it. I hope. Yeah. So the movie was good. I enjoyed the movie. It was emotionally draining, where I was sad the rest of the day.
Yeah, I should have told you.
Thanks.
Don't do anything.
Thanks a lot. I'll tell anybody to watch this movie, but it's sad because we live in today's era where there's so many movies that have been made at such a high pace. People won't think to go back and look at older movies.
I like older movies because I like the simplicity of it.
I like the acting too, because the acting is a mixture between stage and movie performance.
And I feel like the storytelling and the writing is better than most current.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's
better
more powerful.
Flow.
It's more powerful.
Yeah, it's a better flow, I think, and you get more.
It did win some awards, but it didn't win Academy Awards, but it did win awards. It won like a Golden Globe or something.
Yeah.
And let me see. It won supporting actress. Nope. Yeah, best supporting actress, Susan Connor. Which I think that was that was Sarah Jane. That was Sarah Jane. Let me see. Really? And her mother was Roman Catholic, and both were Mexican, and Irish descent. Her father was
out to the Roman Catholic. No,
Jewish.
I'm playing.
Wow.
Well, that's what we are.
But her kids. Remember I was talking about her kids? Chris and Paul Welts. They worked together on American Pie.
Oh wow.
And About a Boy. Oh, that's a little comp. They did something else. American Pie, About a Boy, and Mozart in the Jungle. Never saw that one. There was something major. I was like, what? I see. Okay, in Company, American Dream. Huh. I feel like there was something else where I was shocked. Let me look at his brother real quick. There was something there. I was like, what? I'm like, what? Oh. The other main works was Wells directed. Oh, he directed New Moon from the Twilight. And co-wrote Rogue One. Oh, he co-wrote, the other brother co-wrote. He did New Moon from Twilight, and he did Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
I think I still have to
with Tony Gilroy.
You have to tell me what Star Wars movies to watch, like in the order, because I've only seen like the first one, the second one, and then the one with Jar Jar Binks.
Okay. the thing about Star Wars is it's a very complicated matter because you have people from the 1970s and 80s that watched the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. And then you get, even though I was born late 80s, I watched the trilogy. The next trilogy, it was like, oh, the first movie is cool. It wasn't as good as the first set of trilogies, but it wasn't as bad, in my opinion, as the last set of trilogies with Rey and everything. The best way is not to watch it in order of the timeline, like episode 1, 2, 3, whatever. The best way to watch it actually is in chronological order of the movie releases. You get it now?
Yeah.
And you can't talk to Star Wars to an old school Star Wars fan. Like you can't. Okay,
we should watch Star Wars together at some point.
After we finish our series on 1950s, 60s, 70s, we'll do Star Wars.
Okay.
We'll do all of them.
Ooh, all right.
Not the cartoons though. No, we're going to stick to
cartoons.
Yes.
Are you watching, or did you watch them? All right.
We'll get into it. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. It was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be because it was a pretty good movie. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
No.
What's the next movie you want me to watch?
A Streetcar Named Desire.
Okay, everybody have a good one. Cincinnatiman, my sister says goodbye as well.
Bye.
Okay, everybody have a good one.